baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here,
Black versus the Board of Education.
'cause we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know, and we know, and we go, so you do what you know.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
And a whole mood is indeed what we'll continue to be. Welcome to another episode of Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen, and I welcome you into this space. I was trying to think of somebody that wasn't welcome here, but I couldn't come up with anybody, so everybody's welcome today. And we're talking about Black 365, beyond February and beyond your limitations. And the reason we decided to call it that, we want it to be known that Black History Month may be a designated time for reflection, but we boldly declare that our history, our excellence, and our impact cannot be confined to 28 days. We are Black 365. This episode is a defiant reminder that our stories, our struggles, and our victories are ever present, shaping the world in real time. And you already know that we're the influencers of the whole culture, and we proudly assume our position. So as usual, we like to let you know who's in the space. So let's go ahead and start with our virtual panelists, our longest running co-host. Go ahead and say what's up, girlfriend.
Hi, everybody. My name is Melissa. I am a freshman at UC Berkeley, and I'm excited about today's episode.
You're always excited. I just love that about you. And we're going to stay excited because, you know, there's so many things happening around us where people want us to just, I don't know, stop. And it ain't going to stop and it ain't going to quit. Also joining us on the screen, go ahead, because she's been MIA for a couple of weeks and I'm not going to put her on blast too much, but she knows she's shame. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Love Bug.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Anaya, and I'm a sophomore at Howard University.
What's Howard up to lately? What y'all got going on? Because I know y'all had the rest in peace to those folks who lost their lives over DC over last week. We know there were a lot of children on that plane, so we want to send some love out to those families and send our condolences. But what's going on in DC land? Doesn't sound like much, girl. Come on.
Well, personally for me, I'm in the School of Education, and they just finished the minor building last month, so we moved back into that building. So it's been really, really nice. It's a really nice building. So
what's the general vibe around DC? Because I know you had a new president sworn in. What's the general vibe on the Howard campus? Because there's a lot of things going on, and if you get distracted by the noise, you would think that all these things coming down the pipeline actually happen to do with Black folks. But what's the general tenor around Howard?
I mean, I feel safe at my school for the most part. I haven't had any negative encounters with anyone who was a supporter of him. I know students have said that they have had some negative ones, just wearing Howard gear and just being Black in general. But I would say so far out here, it's pretty chill from what I've experienced. Nothing to, other than like you said, the plane crash, nothing's really.
Okay, gotcha. And so we're going to go ahead and transition to our in-studio guests, co-hosts, panelists, whatever you want to call them. And I'm going to save the two newest ones for last, but I'm going to throw it over there to my friend in the P hat. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Me, Mr. Fox.
Go ahead and put that closer to your mouth.
They heard me.
I want to hear you better.
If they can hear me, you can hear me.
Oh,
stop too near me not to hear me.
Oh, see, here you go. Anyway, let's see. Right next to you, this beautiful young lady. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Deanna Carter. I'm new to this. I'm just a creative. I really want to make a difference in the world and just change our environment for the better for us Black folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deanna is one of our newest team members, and we're happy to welcome you to Team BYLP. And over here, sitting right next to me, who are you?
I'm Leah Reed. I'm really excited for the opportunity to be able to be a part of such a team that this has an emphasis on advocacy, especially for Black students and Black youth. And just that link itself with advocacy and just Black youth and like just Black people in general, that is something I'm really passionate about.
Well, I love it, and I welcome y'all to Team BYOP. We're excited to get to know you better and to get to work because that's what it's all about. Happy Black History Month to everybody listening, and if you're mad, that's your fault because we don't really spend time dwelling on how other people feel about things that were just really put in place, in my opinion, to kind of pacify Black folks in the first place. Folks want to get all up in arms about 28 days, but you can't quantify the impact that we've had on this world in 28 days. Melissa, what's going on with you? When I first told you about this topic and what I wanted to do, what are some of the things that came to mind as we spoke?
Yeah, it was really a full circle moment because when we started the podcast, we started in Black History Month talking about the way that we didn't see Black History Month being represented and being celebrated at our campuses as Black students. And I think it was like during COVID or like right after or right before
It
COVID
was
when
after, baby. It was after.
right
It
after
was
right after everything shut
was
down.
it was February 2021, right? I want to say it was
Yes.
February
Yeah, so we were
2021.
still on lockdown. We're still on
Okay.
lockdown. Everybody was still at home. And as Black students, even like virtually, we weren't seeing Black History Month being represented and we weren't feeling celebrated. And of course, the world was in a state of emergency, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we were still Black. We were all still, of course, dealing with, the murder of George Floyd. And like, these are all things that are happening while we're stuck at home with no outlet. And so when you first said, like, we're going to be able to talk about Black 365, at that time we were also Black 365. Like, we were still dealing with everything that everyone else was dealing with, plus the weight of being Black. So like, whether you celebrate it or not, whether, and then there's this erasure of identity months, whether you celebrate it or not, or nationally recognize it or not, we're still Black. Like, you can't take away from Black history, whether you're trying to acknowledge it or not. But yeah, that's what I first thought about. It's really full circle moment.
Fox? It's a podcast, sir. Can't feel dead air.
Choosing my words nicely.
Okay. Well, give it to us raw, and we'll dissect it.
Because it's say Black 365.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come out for Black History Month, but just like church, when church is over,
Ooh.
they ain't doing churchly things. So that being said, shout out to all the Blacks that's Black 365.
Ooh.
And when I say Black, I mean Black people. I'm not talking about foreigners. I'm talking about Black people who've gone through Black struggles and show up for Black struggles and show up and do Black things and eat Black food and help Black people. And we do Black culturalistic things beyond Black History Month. And you know how when people be at church and they supposed to take that moment to say, man, I really heard a good sermon today and I'm gonna come back to church next Sunday. And, and they like, man, they really ate today and I felt the Holy Spirit today. And then come Wednesday, they don't be on it. So I'm hoping maybe this Black History Month, we can bring some of our people back. The door always open. They say we the most forgiving race ever. Come on home, man. We know what some of y'all did, but
what they do?
They turned their back on us. They treasonous, man.
Oh, treasonous. Ooh, Anaya. Black 365, or are you good with the 28-day limit?
Black 365, maybe 366, depending on the year. But I feel like me being at a HBCU, I'm surrounded by Blackness all the time and Black excellence. So not saying that Black history is like, I don't see Black history happening, but it's just so normal for me at my school that when it's Black History Month, it kind of just amplifies that rather than it's a quote unquote special celebration for the 28 days. So yeah.
So when you hear Black History Month, does it hold any type of significance for you?
No, I feel like it doesn't really make a difference because at the end of the day, we're still Black. We still go through Black struggles. Nobody's stepping up to the plate. There are people that step up to the plate, but it's not enough. I need more voices. I need more publicity. I need more people to speak up about the struggles that we have and gain the more resources.
I'm going to challenge you though. So when you say that you want people to speak up for the struggles that we have, are we waiting for Superman?
No.
Okay. So what do you mean?
We're waiting for Black people to form together and be together we're not together. We have so much in society that tries to break us away from each other. We need to come together as a unity and speak up and make a difference, because if we don't, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening to the next generations.
Okay. So, I can't be with everybody. All skin folk and kinfolk. And there's some people that like to poke holes in your boat while you're rowing. So I'm never going to be unified with those type of people.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So when you hear what my friend over here said,
Yeah.
do you agree? Do you push back on it? Are you waiting for somebody else?
No, not necessarily. I do get where she's coming from, especially with having that or wanting to have that solidarity within your own community.
Yeah.
But there are times when even you don't have that, your own people don't do certain things, or just how, like, I don't know, it kind of like, reminds me of like, I know it's not related, but like the white savior in movies. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
say,
you want to run down a bunch of movies that they were in? I mean, because that's all we were force fed. Like, if we could keep it a buck, like that's what we were force fed.
Yeah, it was always like the black struggle movies. That's all we had. It was
that's
black
all we
struggle.
had.
No, nothing to kind of like deviate from that reality. We had to be reminded of that every time we went to a movie theater. Like, oh, The Help. That was a very prominent example of one that white superhero, like someone has to come in and like, oh, I got you, I can save you. But
that makes me think of Dangerous Minds, with Michelle Pfeiffer goes into the inner city school and becomes the savior of the the campus. It's like, girl, you the ones putting our kids out of school. But anyway, let me stop. I digress. Fox.
I'm gonna comment off what she just said, right?
Yeah. You all lean back. You okay?
Yeah, because we black. We in here. We chilling. It's a good subject.
Yeah.
And I'm liking what the sisters are saying, and I'm not taking away from what you're saying. However, to add on to it, I don't think we don't be waiting for nobody to come. But what I do recognize about what she's saying is we got black folks with platforms and they ain't doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
as I come out or you come out, and these two ladies just doing our form, and they out here, they here to fight.
Who you expecting? Who you expecting to use their platform?
I don't expect nobody. I'm gonna do.
Oh, okay.
I'm like Nike. I'll just do it
because I understand what you're saying.
These other people with platforms are in the way of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because you got a bigger platform
But you
than me.
think that they were maybe put there to get in the way of what you was doing?
No, they put themselves there.
Yeah.
Melissa, talk to me. You think they were put there to distract us from what we're supposed to be doing?
There's so many distractions. Yeah, there's a lot of distractions, and like everybody's saying, like to divide us, like even within our own community, to try and divide us and take us away from the true cause. And while I completely understand what everyone's saying, I think that there is some importance in Black History Month, and I think that it's definitely been watered down, and the importance has recently, not just like within the last couple of months, but even within the last few years, I feel like there's been so much that can divide us with that. But I feel like we fought for Black History Month. We fought for what was originally Negro History Week. And so I think we also have to, I think we have to pay attention to and give praise to that too, because although it is 28 days, like we still did fight for something. And there's definitely a lot more that needs to be done. And of course, symbolism is a thing, and that's not needed in the grand scheme of things, but we also did fight for this as well.
Yeah. And I think that when it was fought for, there was a certain ideology that came with that. We wanted to be seen as the inventors, as the scientists, as the great people that we were. And I think somehow it's been, and I'm going to use this word, bastardized, right? Where you have current celebrities putting themselves on flyers and throwing parties, right? And denigrating kind of the legacy of certain things. We're still talking about MLK and Rosa Parks and all this stuff, but there's been history made since those people. But it's like they give you certain relics to look to, and they never really talk about present day, the different things that are continuing to happen. Like I rarely hear anything about Henrietta Lacks, who they took her genes out of her body and continue to provide medicines for people, and her family has never been compensated for the genes that they continue to use to provide cures for other people. Like, we don't hear those stories, right? And so I do see the importance in that, but I also see how they're trying to segue into something that this time was not supposed to be used for. And you can pipe back in. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. It's been monetized. Like you said, there's people who will throw their faces on flyers and will make money off of, like everyone's been saying, Black struggle, and will do a 2-minute speech in the beginning about, like you said, MLK and Rosa Parks, and then they're making money that doesn't go eventually back to the Black community. They keep that, and that's in their pockets, or to whatever organization they're a part of that isn't really for the community.
Well,
And sometimes they don't even know the true history or the background of what they're even speaking about.
and that's the problem, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's the
they're
problem.
not teaching it on school campuses.
Yeah, they're not.
And that lends to the erasure of how our students feel on campuses
Yeah.
when it's not brought up at all, right?
Right.
And now they got this person who was elected, and he's doing away with all these different ethnic celebrations.
Yeah.
Like, they're so bothered, like, for why? Like, like, I'm going to do a proclamation. I'm going to say we're not celebrating it. Why? Because they can't get off work. Go to work. We worked 400 years. Take your behind to work.
Right.
Like, so you want a holiday? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand where we're at. I don't understand how we got here, and why some of us think it's okay to throw parties and have our butts plastered on flyers for this type of celebration, when it could be something positive, and we could
Yeah.
be lending it so that our children see themselves as the brilliant, beautiful people that they are.
The creative.
The creative.
Yes.
Right? Because we were on a phone call earlier for a school, and I heard this psychologist talking, and she was like, he was pacing back and forth, and I thought that it led to anxiety, and I thought this and that, and I thought he was going to do all these things. Well, maybe he was just bored and tired of listening to you talk.
Right.
Like, engage his mind, because we are a creative people. We can't just sit still.
Right.
Right. And so I see this ideology, and because they never had to really learn about Black history, right? They don't see us as the progenitors of a lot of different things. We're the progenitors of the race, right? They don't see us as the people who built this country for free and have always waited for us to be paid back, called reparations. It is not a handout. It is a debt that is owed. And so without them knowing and learning and having to learn the context, right, we're left with people who think that we just siphon off of this country and we do not contribute in any way. And that's where I get really ticked off.
That's a problem.
I got to challenge you on that one, though.
Challenge me, please.
And it's crazy. We
Let's do
influence
it.
the influencers.
How about that?
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge you on that.
Challenge me. What are we talking about?
Them white folks do know what they doing. They know exactly what they doing.
Oh, I didn't say they didn't know.
What was you saying?
What I'm saying is they act like they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They act like if they keep it out of the history books, that you will not.
They're supposed to.
They're supposed to.
One thing I thought about, and this my true honesty. I said, damn. If I was over here first, if we was over here first, it would be nice. You know what I mean? To conquer some land and do some stuff.
Well, there's some of your people who think they were here first.
No, they wasn't. I ain't white. I ain't
some
white.
of your people,
Yeah.
the Moors, they think they were here first.
These people came and they set up a land for their people, and they passing it on and passing it on and passing it on. But at some
Who
point,
set up a land for their people?
white folks. Christopher Columbus did not discover this crap over here.
No, he didn't set it up either.
Yeah, he did.
No.
They started setting up, bringing more slaves over, setting up their land and all that stuff.
And handing out blankets with diseases to try to eradicate the people that were already here.
Right.
Exactly. Now, my point is this. At what point do us as a people take acknowledgement for not learning our own history?
Mm-hmm.
At what point do we as a people take acknowledgement and say, no more?
Well, you have to know that a history exists, right? Because if you leave it to them, we were just slaves, right? There was no history before that.
Forget what they talking about.
No. But if you're brought up in this land and you're taught their language and they give you their religion and they give you their education system, all you know is what you were told from a babe. All you know is what you were told.
Mm-hmm.
No.
What?
Exactly.
At
How?
some point, you got to take
Yeah.
responsibility of what you know in your head. I'm 40 years old.
Yeah.
Between 0 and 20.
So how did you learn?
That's on. I read books. I had to self-educate.
And what did they say about Black people in books?
The way you hide something from a Negro is you put it off inside the book.
Okay.
Right.
So you know that to be the truth. And then they started killing people for reading, learning to read,
Yeah.
right?
When I was locked in the cell, I had to look for the bottom of the most smallest of the lights
Yeah.
just to be able to read and come up.
But you had the will to do
knowledge. And look,
everybody don't have the will.
yes, we do.
Everybody
for our
doesn't.
people to come off the ships that we came off of and to jump off of them, we can't be believing these slavery stories that we be seeing.
I
off of these
believe it.
movies.
I
They show,
agree.
like you said, they show the most docilest of me. Oh, just a massa, please. Can I have a piece of get up against a tree so I can beat you?
But
Not all black
think
folks was
about
like
it.
that.
But think about it.
Black folks was
If they
taking
showed
over.
you in your true power, how much more would you do?
As a black man, when do you got to stand up and take responsibility of knowing your power?
And
I'm
if
not
they
always
took all
right.
y'all out the house,
I'm not always right? But
I hear you.
what I am saying is, at what point do I have to stop blaming the white man for why I'm calling my sisters B words? At what point do I have to stop blaming the white man for why I won't help my sister with $100? Well, at what point do I stop blaming the white man for saying?
But who said we blaming them?
Because they keep talking
Holding
about
them accountable is not blame, boo.
Hold yourself accountable, brother.
We can hold
Get
ourselves
up,
accountable.
take care of your kids,
but
and
we
let's come
cannot
together as
act like
community.
they didn't do certain things. We can hold people accountable.
I'm not saying they couldn't do certain things, but what I am saying is this: a white man can look me in my face right now and call me a nigger, and I'm gonna laugh because you ain't got no power. That stuff don't mean nothing to me. Versus some people want to get offended and they be upset. Man, can you fire me? Can you hire me?
I mean, they could hire you.
You can't do nothing. So the word got no power.
But that's because of where you are in your standing right now. No, they can't fire you. You work here, right?
You can work anywhere. And I'm not saying that to be arrogant.
And y'all can jump in anytime because we go back and forth.
I'm not saying being arrogant. What I'm saying is my role is different than your role.
Yeah.
I do believe in gender roles. I do believe I open the door for you. I do believe, man, if I see you drop that purse, I'm gonna help you out with it. I do believe in not hitting the woman.
But that's not everybody.
Man, that's what a black man supposed to have.
Perception is different. You know what I mean?
Come into your knowledge, black man.
I think especially like where you have your will from, that took a lot in order to acquire that. But someone growing up in like, the environment that they came from, and you know what they know is what they know. What they were taught is what they were taught. They didn't have a means to deviate and just think, okay, something about this isn't wrong, isn't right. So
they didn't have self-discovery,
like
self-discovery. Like
man,
some people got to go through really hard times.
I just did 27 years in prison. I got this knowledge in prison behind a cell. I was in there since I was 14 years old. Huh?
Did you hunger for knowledge?
Hell yeah, I did.
Okay.
Some
people ain't hungry. Some people ain't hungry.
Because although I didn't know what the true discovery of my knowledge and who I was coming to be was, I knew who I wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's all I had to decide on. I don't know everything.
I agree. I agree with Miss Tawana. She said that's growth. Everybody ain't growing. Some people are stagnant.
If you a brother and you ain't growing, you ain't answering your call as a black man.
You right in some ways. But let me tell you this. Even in the Bible, it said that the people would be asleep. And at the proper time, he would wake them up. Some of us are still asleep and we haven't come into the knowledge of who we are.
Yes.
We believe what we were told. And there's some of us who have become so defiant that is like, yeah, I'm not that. Yeah. I'm not that. And this is how I'm going to prove it. So I understand exactly what you're saying. And I applaud you for coming to the realization of your standing as a black man, but everybody ain't there. And everybody ain't ready to be there.
So what you gonna celebrate with Black History Month? A week, man?
I mean, who's there? They gave you all kind of people you can celebrate. Who you learning about? Because they're not talking about the Fred Hamptons.
Right. But
they're not talking about the people who led revolutions. Like, let's do it.
Malcolm X gone. Martin Luther King gone.
Right, but they hold up relics of the civil rights movement. Where they been? Where are these people that's still alive? That were alive during the civil rights movement. Where are they?
I go to their speeches. You know what they say?
What they say?
Oh, brother, I'm telling you, I walked with Martin Luther King myself. Who that white girl on your arm?
Oh.
Oh, brother, I'm telling you, I you know what I'm saying? These brothers, they talking. They talk in front of these cameras.
Yeah, they do.
But behind the scenes, where they at? I'm here.
Yeah.
And
they don't want to deal with women with attitudes. They don't want to deal with women who will buck up against them.
That's what they don't want to deal with a woman with a story.
I love y'all. I love you. I love you. I love you, and I love you, Melissa. I love the sisters. That's just what it is.
Everybody don't love us.
Yeah.
Gonna grow. How you gonna grow? How you gonna be somebody?
50-50 thing.
Because I'm gonna tell you something about a king. They always said it ain't never gonna be a king without a queen.
Mm-hmm.
And in the famous words, and I ain't into quoting no people or big open to nobody like that.
Yeah.
Tupac said it best. We all came from a woman, man.
Got a name from a woman, and I came from a woman. And since we all
Go on, finish the statement.
we hate our women.
So again,
it's time for us to be real to our women.
brother, when you gonna wake up and celebrate this Black History Month and do it correctly?
Where they at though? Because our children are in a school system where they've been kicked out at astronomical numbers.
Right.
And I can tell you, I've been at the school board meetings by myself for years. And I told them brothers, I said, you know what? I say a lot of stuff that pisses people off. And I would just really love for you to come and sit with me. Crickets. And I understand it. I understand that there have been so many times in recent history where our brothers have been focused on, they have been killed, they have been beaten, they have been molested with objects by people in law enforcement. I understand all that. And I think that's why you had so many of us willing to step on the front lines to protect y'all.
Yes.
We did that because we saw that some of us were going to have to take that on in order to change it for our children. They took y'all out of the houses on purpose. They left us defenseless and unprotected, and we had to learn to protect ourselves. Not that we wanted to, but it was a matter of survival.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have a lot of us in positions of, I don't want to say power, but for lack of a better words, in positions of power. Some of us are comfortable and some of us are kicking back. And we're waiting for y'all. We're waiting. I'll wait forever. You know how long I've been waiting for you to get here and take over this boys group? You didn't even know me. I didn't even know you. But I said, you know what? Let me establish a Black boys support network, because if I establish it, they will come. You know how many boys have siphoned in and out of that program because I left it in the hands of men who really didn't know what to do with it? And as a woman, I'm not going to step in to run a boys group, although I can. We have to know when it's time for us to bow out and bow out gracefully, because we have to allow you, when you're ready, to assume the position. That's a whole mouthful, right? Y'all could jump in. Don't just let me talk, y'all.
It's a mouthful, but I know it's brothers like me here now.
Where y'all at?
I'm not the only one that came about them stoops. But also, I got other homies. You know them. I mean, you don't know them, but
I don't know them. Where they at? We got some boys for them to mentor.
Some people just don't learn. They out the pen and they call my phone all the time. I let you hear the calls, and they just be, and I'll be like, bruh, that's what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, how you say women took the front line, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I seen y'all. I watched y'all on the news. I read about y'all in the book. I seen it again. I watched when Black Lives Matter first started, before it got handed over in the hands of people that was like, and all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I watched y'all. I watched y'all out there telling them, leave our brothers alone. I watched the trade, can't breathe. I seen all that, right? While I was behind them bars. But still, when I hear you say, oh man, you know, the brothers asleep. Look, we're not living in biblical days. We don't got 200 years to live. I'm 40. I might be lucky if I got another 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
When is it time to wake up? You got to do.
I think that's a question that we can ask them.
And
I don't know. I'm woke. Been woke.
I don't believe in celebrating as a boy at 40. I want to celebrate as a man. I don't believe in greeting you as a child. Grab your hand. How you doing, sister? My name Fox. You know what I'm saying? Woo, I wear BB. That's how I'm gonna greet him when I came through the door. I'm not gonna wait. You don't got to worry about me.
Melissa's trying to figure out what you're doing.
That's not what it is.
Yeah.
But that can only be shown through promotion and application of the lifestyle that we live. And I believe myself that men got to tell men that.
I agree.
Women can only do so much. But that's why you hear me tell men that all the time.
But
look, bro, this is what it is. Because if a man don't tell another man that, you think that as a joke. You think it's
I honestly think men are afraid. Black men are afraid.
Okay.
They're
Tell me why.
scared. They're scared of judgment. They want to be accepted in society, so they go after, like, let's say, other races or other places where they feel like they need to find a place to belong, instead of coming towards us as like a unity. You know, I think they're afraid. They're afraid of judgment and
Melissa,
like other people's
Anaya,
opinions.
Leah, what do you think?
Would you say that stems from like where do you think it would stem from? Like childhood or like how they
I feel like childhood, it starts in the classrooms. Like we say, a lot of teachers are white women, and it comes from that. You know, they don't see a lot of Black women in the classrooms. You know, and it's probably because how society is. And I honestly feel like,
who did they hold up as the standard of beauty for so long?
yes, white
right?
women. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and who did we try to emulate as we were growing up? I know I was trying to have my hair all up with the hairspray, and that ain't for us.
Yeah.
But I didn't see myself as I see myself now. Like I said, I'm
definitely.
woke.
And that's where it comes self-discovery. Some people have to go through really dark times to discover who they truly are. They have to go through battles because, like you said, people get stagnant. They get in this place where they're stuck. They don't know where to go or where to turn to, or they get really comfortable. Comfortable is like they get very comfortable with who they are. They don't see that self discovery or.
Well, they say that comfort is the enemy of progress.
Yes. And that's
and
what
I think we've been
happens
too
a lot in this
comfortable.
generation.
Too comfortable.
Yeah.
We didn't want to make no waves. We didn't want to be seen as the problem, right? And so we continue to try to dumb ourselves down, make ourselves more palatable, so people would accept us.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I remember the day that I woke up, I did the big chop, right? And I just started wearing my hair natural.
Yeah.
And it was such an attitude change. Like it was a defiance.
How so?
I was just openly defiant.
Yeah.
I was just pissed off and mad at everybody. And it's like, this is a racket. I was working in a place that told me I was not valuable as other people who had the same type of degree that I had. I was not as valuable. I was the low man on the totem pole. I was paid less than everybody, even though there were some women in there that didn't have a degree at all.
Just because you didn't look like them.
Right.
But
and so I began I'm like, wait a minute.
But we're unique. That's the thing. We're unique. We're not digestible. We're very outspoken, very beautiful, very creative, very strong-willed. And
that's
a lot of people don't like.
To them.
Yeah, that's a threat. Exactly. And a lot of people don't like strong-willed women.
Melissa, Anaya, I know we just.
No, I agree. Yeah, we're strong. We're so much. And sometimes being you and being unapologetically you and being all of that is too much for people. If you're not easily digestible,
people don't like confidence.
They don't want to have you. Yeah, they don't like confidence. They don't like someone who can push back on something that doesn't feel right. We're not going to be complacent. Like we have the ability and the will because we've been through so much to push back on things that don't feel right. Even if we are incredibly close, if you say something that I don't like or that rubs me the wrong way, I'm going to check you on it. And we should be able to have that mutual respect, and that isn't always there.
Respect is a big one. A lot of people don't have that nowadays.
100%.
I mean, Fox done went quiet on us. He said it's too much estrogen up here.
I have my own opinions about that. I'll just be keeping that type of stuff to myself.
No, we want to hear them. We want
to hear them. That's what we're here for. We need a male perspective.
Is it a hot take or? It must be.
I think y'all as beautiful. I think y'all as Black women are beautiful without all that weave and all that other stuff. I mean, it's nice to get the nails done and when y'all get y'all hair done and stuff. But I see sisters with just pounds and pounds of makeup on. So it's so much to the point where if they take it off, they got a whole different identity.
A whole Decepticon up under that.
You can't even identify them. And then I feel bad because I'll just be like, what wounded you to the point where you feel like, what are you covering up? Like, you don't know how beautiful you are.
Definitely.
And, I got an auntie. I got two sisters. You know what I mean? I got nieces. You know what I mean? I call every Black woman queen so much to the point where It get on some people nerves. They're like, why you call her a queen? And they all queens, man. To me,
Some of them are peasants.
they can be.
I'm just saying.
You do 27 years behind them bars.
Some of them are peasants. They're not
and all
queen
you see is men, and you hold up your end of your bargain to what it is to be a black man and do not participate in no form of any dick sucking or homosexuality while behind those bars, then you're gonna see every sister as a queen because you ain't gonna participate in none of that, and you know your true identity. So when you see them, you're gonna say, man, sister, I've been locked up a long time, and it ain't because I want to have all these sexual activities with you, but it sure is good to see y'all again. I ain't got no disrespect for y'all, but at the same time, I also hold myself accountable because I was a young ignorant nigga in the streets when I was young, before I went to prison, and I was one of the ones who
and
wanted
you went
to
to prison at what age?
14.
14.
And I was one of the ones who called myself calling y'all B words and hoes and fast talking and slick.
But why do you think you did that?
That was a part of my culture.
Environment.
Yeah.
Part of your environment.
I got that out of my home though.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to make a nexus because we just had a whole conversation about 5-10 minutes ago.
Right.
And I said you become what it is that you're taught.
And what you're around.
That's your first lifestyle. That's your first legacy. Somebody gives you your first legacy.
Exactly.
As a man, you got to take over that and take over your second legacy. That,
Right.
first legacy.
But you weren't always there. Is what I'm trying to
Going
make
back
the
to that one
connection.
conversation.
Because
I make the connection.
Yeah.
I just don't let that connection be my excuse. That's why I don't talk about it. Black men like to hold that as an excuse. Like, oh, you don't understand. I'm from the hill.
It's not an excuse.
Grow up.
I agree. But I'm just saying that I just wanted to make sure that we double back because we only know what we are taught. And at some point we have to take it upon ourselves, be like, there's something missing.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
gotta
need
be honest
to
with
find.
yourself.
Yeah.
I had to look in the mirror like this in the prison cell. And I had to look in the mirror and they said, man, you's a real ass nigga. I looked in the mirror and I said, damn, you a real ass liar. You're a real ass manipulator.
Oh.
You be disrespecting these sisters out here.
Mm.
You promoting this gang life.
Yeah.
You sending them.
Yeah.
You a dope dealer. You ain't shit, nigga.
Yeah.
I know how to tell myself.
Yeah.
But I get mad
And
at
you
you.
know, there's some people that gonna listen to this and they like, oh, they use the N-word. We do. Because we amongst family and we having a conversation. You just happen to be listening.
Yeah.
We use the word. You can't use it because it's not your word. Period.
That's so hard for people to understand nowadays. It's just
Right. But within honesty comes correction though.
That's right.
Yeah.
If a man can say that to herself, it's no different than a woman saying something to herself and she tell herself, my panties is dirty. I don't know what females tell us. I ain't never been a woman.
We don't tell ourselves that.
Only men who try
I don't know
to
who
be
we heard
females
that
know
one
that.
from.
You know what I mean? I ain't never tried to be a woman, so I don't know. But
We
I
don't
see
say
these
that.
dudes, they
Yeah.
want to be women. But I only ever tried to be a better man.
Yeah.
And as a better man, like I said, if I had the audacity to call females all kind of B words behind their backs, then I got the strength to look you in your face and say, hi, queen. How you doing, queen? Ooh, queen.
I appreciate
so
that.
some of them, they might be
appreciate that.
peasants, but in my eyes, I'm just making amends, and I want the next little boy, as we was talking about on our all hands meeting, how do you teach them to live? I want them to hear me say that so that they don't say that.
Yeah.
Because I picked it up from somewhere too.
Right.
You ain't gonna pick it up from me like that, little homie.
I like that.
I like
that. If you're just joining us, we're talking Black 365, beyond February, beyond your limitations. So many times during the year, the school year, we are in and out of campuses. And yes, when you do listen to this podcast, you may hear somebody cuss. You may hear them say something that, attacks your sensibilities. And we're just going to talk normal. Right?
Raw.
Yeah.
You're here.
Raw and uncut.
Welcome to our conversation, because this is probably what you don't get to hear. Fox is Fox, and he has a perspective that is certainly valuable here. I love to hear him talk in all his honesty, because we're not used to that.
Yeah.
We're used to people being politically correct because they assume that's what we want to hear from them.
Right.
Just saying the things we want to hear.
Right.
Right.
Being ourselves.
And we have to create a safe space for our men that are coming home from prisons or from other types of places, and they're still trying to figure it all out.
Right.
And we have to be open and honest enough to know that we can't tone police people when they're expressing themselves in the way that they do. So I appreciate your perspective, sir. I appreciate the fact that you said you looked in the mirror and you self-analyze. A lot of people can't look in the mirror and see anything but the positive. And I say that in terms of we'll look in the mirror and we'll say affirmations. I don't know if anybody really looks in the mirror and says, you're failing at this and you need to check yourself. I don't know too many people who do that. I know for women, I'll speak for myself. I have looked in the mirror and said, that don't look right. Take that off. You too frumpy. Why do you look like that? Oh my God, you need to lose 50 pounds. Those are the things that I tell myself, right?
We're our biggest critics.
Don't
Right.
tell yourself that no more.
Yeah.
Anyway, I tell myself that. I bet you said something about some dirty panties. I don't say that. But I'll tell you what I do say.
Only men who be wanting to be like women, and you see them all the time. They trying so hard to be like y'all.
Yeah.
And you know what irritates me about it?
What's it? What is it?
I don't even want to give them no level of credit, but I will say this, and then I'll just leave it alone. What irritates me about them, black men trying to be a black woman, is why do they try to emulate the most ignorant sisters? Not that I want you to emulate a sister at all, but why do you want to emulate the most ignorant black woman and say, I'm a black woman? You don't want to be a black man, you want to be a black woman, but you want to emulate the most ignorant one. So the brother wants to put the long weave on and he rolls his neck and the long nails, and now he's saying I'm a woman, but you're the most ignorant of them. So you lost, you confused.
Is it based upon like the weave and the nails, or is it?
Are you saying that they're?
I ain't never.
Or
seen
how they carry themselves.
I ain't never seen.
What you been watching?
That's what I want to know.
You know,
you
I don't watch TV.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to understand because I know I see certain things on
and they don't never just
social
be
media.
Like, how you doing, sir? With the whoop, can I help? They always got to be hella loud, hella boisterous, hella flamboyant.
Well, I see that with
ignorant.
other races too, that hang around black women.
Yeah, they kind of copy that.
They decide to adopt a vernacular that they think that we are. And it's never the ones of us who are super articulate.
Because this ain't got nothing to do with Black History Month.
I mean
it's
brought it up.
I don't even want to say it. I just want to celebrate us. And I just want strong ones that want to be here with us to celebrate with us. And when I say strong ones that want to be here with us, man, don't be doing no counter-pro intel.
Well, I was going to ask about that too, because how many of the organizations that were put in place to help our people were taken down by other black people who were instrumental or got close to the seat of power to then take it down? I always talk about people poking holes while I'm rowing, right? So how many of those things happened because other people weren't on the same page and they decided to work against the movement and not for the movement? Probably because they couldn't be in charge. That's what I'm gonna go ahead and put it out on a limb. If they couldn't take over, they was gonna take it out.
Right, but I noticed,
and that's part of Black history. So that's the nexus that I'm drawing.
There's also envy.
Yeah,
but it's produced.
Produced.
As I was growing up and I started becoming a black boy into knowledge of a black man, one thing that was taught to me was we're a car, we're a culture, we're a community.
Mm-hmm.
What I see out here is it's promoted for everybody to be the boss. On every rap song, that rapper's the boss. I take care of the crew. I'm the boss. I'm this. I got the most shootings. I got the most. And so everybody want to be this boss. But if you're a car has many components, but every component of the car is crew. You take one wheel off the car and the car don't go.
Right.
You take the steering wheel off the car don't go. You take the right mirror off the car, you ain't gonna be able to see them cars over there. Everybody has a role. Know your role. Quit trying to be the boss. If your part is to be the rear view mirror, then be the best rear view mirror you can be.
Yeah.
Don't try to be the steering wheel. You're the rear view mirror. and sometimes, and not sometimes, I think we got to get back to teaching that, because within when we was having community and village, I'm an 80s baby. When we was having community and village, everybody knew their role. You make sweet potatoes. Stop.
No,
Don't
that's
make the
not my role.
chicken. That's your role.
Mm-mm.
You
Put me
come
on the
on
mac
now.
and cheese.
You know you the best hair braider. We all
Oh,
gonna
hair
come to you and get the
braider?
hair
Thank
braided.
you, thank you.
Come on now. You know you wash the dishes the best. If I wash them, I'm gonna leave stuff on. Know your
Wait,
know your
dishes?
role. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Why-
And I ain't saying that's none of y'all role.
No,
But what I
we
am saying
understand.
is these roles somehow got shifted and lost.
And
Yeah.
they're all very important too.
They all very important. You
Yeah.
take one piece, take the muffler off the car and see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Anaya, pop in. We ain't heard from you in, I don't know, 30 minutes. Say something.
What's up?
I'll just
Nana?
ask a question to shift the conversation, if that's okay, to in maybe a more.
No, I just want you to talk about what we talking about, but go ahead, ask your question,
Oh,
girl.
okay.
Ask
I
your
was gonna say,
question.
what are some ways that y'all are doing? I guess just during specifically because it's what this episode is about during Black History Month, to make sure that you're emulating Black history itself. And I know you probably do it year round, like we said, but what are some things that you're going kind of above and beyond to make sure that other people who aren't Black can see our greatness? And what advice would you give other people so they can do that as well?
Only thing I'm continue to do is take up space. I don't care how people feel about what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, how I'm coming across when it comes to our children in the school system. I'm not worried about people looking at me and seeing value in me because I find value in myself and I know the work that I'm doing is super valuable.
Yes.
At one point, I may have been looking for validation, but I provide my own validation at this point because the work that we do is so intentional and it's purposeful that if I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, we wouldn't be here. I don't know what year is this? 4 years later, talking about Black History Month in a podcast studio that I own all the equipment in a new office building, and we're hiring more staff. Yeah, some of them are leaving, but we're hiring more staff and we're course correcting, and it's a testament to the groundwork that has been laid. Whether it's, again, Fox talking about the car analogy, right? I would think that if I wasn't as intentional as I am, BYOP would not be where it is today. And if you take me out of the equation and you put anybody else in the equation, I'm not sure where it would be, because there are some people who would have folded when all I did was bent. And I'll keep it at there. What are y'all doing?
Well, me being here, this is a step in a direction for my career and like trying to better myself and better the people around me. I really want to make sure I'm doing the right, meaningful things in my life. I don't want to look back years later and be like, I didn't accomplish anything. I didn't do what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
So I just say being here, being present,
I
being
definitely
aware.
agree with that. I definitely agree. Just like as I said earlier, just being able to be having an opportunity to be a part of
Yeah.
such a organization
Yeah.
that prioritizes such like Black youth and just making like I'm
just
being
very excited.
a part of that like future just in
Yeah.
general is just telling as it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's very meaningful, especially like would obviously make an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melissa, what you doing?
Something I'm trying to do and that I've been really conscious of is that I'm in my major at UC Berkeley is African American Studies. And so I know it's so small, but trying to speak up more at my classes because I provide a really unique, important perspective. But yeah, like you said, take up space. Like I provide a really important.
And that's what you've been taught all these years, girlfriend. I know you're not in there quiet.
Wait.
I had this baby since she was a freshman in high school. Don't do it. Don't make me come sit in your class with you, girl.
Oh, anyways, but it's not even like me being unsure about things or like shrinking in on myself. I feel I get so focused in like taking notes and stuff like that I can really provide like a really important perspective into a conversation, and I have things that I don't always say. Then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write this down because it comes up on a midterm. But those aren't the most important things. Like there are people. Being one of the very few Black people at this school in the major that I'm in, surrounded by a whole bunch of white people in my African American Studies class, in a Black intellectual thought class, and I'm one of 10 Black people in that class. Like,
how many people are in the class? Total,
maybe like 30, 35. It's
So y'all take up 1/3 of the course.
basically, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like being able to walk into those spaces in the percentage of Black people at the school that I'm in, I definitely want to focus on, especially because I know the conversations are ramping up and are going to get a lot more heavy during this upcoming month. Just to take up space as a course and as a major in general at the school, I definitely want to try and speak up a little more and focus more on adding to the conversation.
Anaya, what you doing? And then we'll come to Fox.
Okay, I'll touch on, I guess, just what I'm learning right now in my major. I plan to be a teacher.
Okay.
And something that's really interesting that I'm more interested in is like policy. And I would say thanks to just BYOP in general, being with y'all for so long, I've kind of been able to immerse myself in that. But something in one of my readings that really stuck out to me is how can the achievement gap between Black students and their white counterparts be closed? And I think it was like in 1978, it was super low. And then in 2008, it was still 30 years later, about around the same amount, and why. Yeah. So I'm really interested in digging into that and learning about why the No Child Left Behind, that whole thing, why it failed. And just basically how we can not only close the achievement gap between our Black students and their white counterparts, but also leave that close. So it's just not 5 years, it was close, you know. So I'm definitely using my power and my voice through education and kind of hitting that system through that way.
Well, I'm not going to give my commentary on that because I think, well, maybe I will. I think the achievement gap is something that was made up, and that's how they insulate themselves with funding. Because if you look at their LCAPs, local control accountability plans, all they do is put 0.00 something. They're going to do something different. And even if they don't reach that goal of that little minute percentage, they are still funded at astronomical levels. If we tie the achievement to the percentage and we make them earn that money, you would see more Black kids succeeding and not being put out of classrooms because people don't want to deal with them because they don't see them as worthy as care, compassion, and concern. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. Fox, what are you doing for Black History Month?
All I can do is do what I already continue to do and build on it, man. You know, it took me a long time to get back out here, and like I said when the podcast started, Black History Month is just a month.
Yep.
I do this every day.
Yep.
I'm gonna be doing this in March. I'm gonna be doing this in July.
What you doing?
Being Black.
Hey, let's
standing
do it.
strong on it and being unapologetic about it. And if an issue comes with that, I'm gonna stand on it. I'm not gonna cower to that. I'm not gonna say, oh no, what I meant to say was, and no, I wouldn't talk. Whatever I said that, and I meant that.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna model that, and I'm gonna try my best to be to continue to have model behavior for the young youth that I deal with, and I'm gonna continue to be there for them when they hurt. You know, because I know what it is to be hurt. I mean, you've been there, you seen me. I've been told forget you to my face by these boys.
We're gonna have to get a button.
They be like, you go in and they be like, I'm dealing with these young boys, and everybody thought it was a game. When to me, I thought that people was taking this organization for a game when I came over here. And they was letting these little boys just eat pizza and throw these stuff around. And I'm like, man, you're not teaching these boys right. They facing something. And they're like, oh no, this Elk Grove, they not, and they don't face that. And you're getting at them too aggressive because I know what they facing.
Yeah.
No matter where they at, they face the same struggle. It's the same officer. And they got the same institution for them as they did for me.
Yeah.
No matter if they in Elk Grove, Oak Park, Meadowview, Oakland, or Colorado, they Black.
Yeah.
And they got a plan for them. And if you don't correct them, the system when they go to it, they say, hey, we can correct them. Come on over here and let them peel our potatoes. So when I see these boys and they thought it was a joke, now a third of my group getting caught with vape pens.
Yeah.
I'm going to juvenile hall for some of them. I have to show up to court for some of them because they had rather fed them pizza than feed them the real lesson.
And do you think it's because you have lived experience that you are in a better position to feed them something other than pizza?
A crackhead got lived experience.
Oh gosh. We're not talking about crackheads. I'm talking about you.
I know, but I'm trying to be as real as possible as I can with y'all. Y'all my sisters, man.
I understand.
It don't got nothing to do with the lived experience. What are you willing to do with it?
Yeah.
So when you say, what are you going to do for Black History Month? I'm going to stand up on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give what I got, the best of what I got. You see me, I give my all to the home. Sunflower seeds.
Well, he ain't lying.
Hold on. You know what I mean? But I'm living up to my calling, and as I continue to live up to my calling, I got to continue to correct myself too. I don't know it all.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get on my knees and pray too. I got to admit my faults too.
Yeah.
I'll be wrong.
And I take that lived experience because I don't have lived experience, but I'll be up in juvenile halls too.
Yeah.
I'll go wherever our children need us at. That's where I'm gonna go.
Do you think it's because you got that passion behind it?
It must be.
Yeah.
I have such an undying love for our children.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because I never had any biological children, but I have such a love for our community and our children. And I want to see them protected as the same as their counterparts. And if I got to throw my body in the way for them to feel like I'll take the blows, you just be a child,
right? That's
what I'm going to do. And that's what I've been doing. Mm-hmm. And has it been easy? No. But I'm making history.
Yeah.
Regardless. Yes. I don't know nobody who been told no as much as I have and continue to show up and get on people's nerves. Mm-hmm. Like what that mean? Yo no means what? I bet you I'll be there tomorrow and I bet you gonna leave these kids alone. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's a way of how we're approaching things. We don't realize that we are making history in real time because there are other people who folded.
That's all I'm saying.
There's other people who folded.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King gone. We right here. We still make it. And I respect all them people. But when you say Black History Month, how can you pay tribute to our fallen soldiers if you can't even carry on their legacy?
Come on now. Okay, so I want to ask y'all this question because we are almost running out of time. If you were to pick a character, it could be a character, or it could be a real person that you get your mood from or your demeanor from in the way in which you present in society present day, who would you say? Anaya. Yeah, I'm gonna go to you first.
Well, I feel like this is my answer because I just watched the movie, but I would say Princess Tiana only because of how hardworking.
This girl said Princess Tiana. I'm gonna bring you a frog. You gonna
like,
kiss a frog, girl.
No, her in human form, okay? Just how hardworking she
Why
is.
Princess Tiana?
Just how hardworking she is,
okay.
And then her motto, like never lose sight. Never lose sight. Oh my goodness, of what's really important. I think that hearing that as I'm older is definitely, it hits different than when I was a child. It's like, oh, Black princess. So yeah, I would say her.
Okay, Princess Tiana. Okay, who would you say?
I'm trying to figure out her name, but it was a movie I recently watched. It was on Netflix. It was about these Black women and like.
That's the one with the numbers, the Tyler Perry movie.
Was it 6888?
6888.
6888.
6888.
Yes.
Okay.
So the character that Kerry Washington played, I think I definitely would choose her, especially since I don't know how to explain it. But
you wouldn't choose her?
I would.
Oh, you
would choose her. No, I definitely would.
Okay.
Just because of how her attitude was and like what she was given. So like she had her group and like they had given her like all these quarters. It was like the living quarters was like it was in bad condition. Yes. And they expected them to just do better than like do a lot what they were given, and they were given like the bare minimum and less than the bare minimum. So just knowing like what she did with that and what she accomplished, it's just very like it's very inspiring as well, just what she did.
And before Fox gets out of here real quick, who if you had to give yourself a character?
Not a casting for me.
What you mean?
I got multiple personalities, woman.
Well, give me one of the personalities, sir.
Because I function off too many. I like Martin Luther King. I like Malcolm X. I like too many people for too many different reasons.
Okay.
I like the fact that Martin Luther King spoke highly and intelligently, and then in his last speech he came back to correct some of the things he did. But I also like the fact that he taught brothers how to do something that I've never seen no other brother do. I ain't never seen no brother been able to get nobody else to come outside and get bit by a dog.
Yeah.
You can't make nobody do that. Martin Luther King said, hey, We gonna go down to this thing down here. The white folks gonna come out with hoses. We just gonna keep our arms linked. We ain't gonna call them not one cuss word. You just stand still. And when they had their dog out, don't you run. I ain't never seen nobody do that.
You right.
He did
I'm
it.
not doing that.
And brothers did it. And then black men have attitudes, egos, not attitudes. The sisters got the attitude. The black man got the ego.
Oh.
Man,
duly noted.
I'm pretty sure his wife said, for real? But he held up his end of the bargain of a man.
Yeah.
No matter what he had to go through. Versus Malcolm X came through and said, hey, man, I ain't turning that other chick like that by any means necessary. You throw that dog on me, I'm going to shoot it. I was like, man, I agree with that too. It depends on where you catch me at and what mood you catch me at. Because there's so many different things that we face out here in society. And different ideologies have gotten me through different times in different situations, depending on what I was facing. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, these folks is devils for real. And I ain't gonna keep cussing them out, but you know the ones I'm talking about. They devils.
Okay.
You gotta be ready for them.
Okay. Melissa, let me go to you while he transitions out.
I would say Ida B. Wells. The way that she wrote as a journalist and completely went against what was socially acceptable at the time and exposed white people for the lynching of Black people in the South. Like, she did it knowing there would be consequences, and she did it unapologetically. And I want to be able to take the creativity that I know that I have, like within writing and performing and things like that, to be able to change the world at the end of the day.
I love it. Miss Lady.
I would say Maya Angelou.
Oh, y'all so nice.
You know why? Because
y'all just so sweet.
I would say I relate to her like with her poetry and like, all the stuff that she has done for us. Like, I'm really a creative. I love music. I love poetry. I love all that stuff, and I love the way how she.
Oh, you and Melissa will get along well. Yeah. Melissa's a poet in her own right.
I really love reading that kind of stuff. So I think I resonate more with her. And then I would say cartoon-wise, I'll say Penny Proud.
Penny Proud.
Because like she was very naive, but she learned her consequences and went through the certain things that she needed to learn to get her to where she's at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you know me, then you know my alter ego is Killmonger from the Black Panther movie. Killmonger was right.
Yes, that's a good one.
His methods are questionable. Right? And everybody don't understand my methods, right? But he was absolutely right. He had righteous indignation. And the people who should have protected him left him behind.
Yeah.
And he had to survive and he had to figure it out. So I remember I used to go into the school board meetings and be like, y'all sitting up in here comfortable. And I just want to disrupt. Yeah. I want to disrupt. Now, I ain't never killed nobody. I don't got a bunch of bumps on my skin. I may have slayed them with my words. But that's definitely my alter ego. Well, we thank y'all for hanging out with us for this last hour and some change. We are Black versus the Board of Education. We are Black 365, beyond February, beyond your limitations. And we're going to go ahead and hit you with this peace sign, and we'll catch y'all next week. Peace out.